Today, guys, we're going to talk about this new Honda Civic. This is 2017. We bought this a few years ago, brand hammer new, 0 kilometers. We're the only owners. The car is getting pretty high mileage onto it now. We're up, I think it's 260. I won't know till I turn it on because she drives it, not me. But I've got to say, this has been an extremely reliable car. This has never broke down, never left us sitting on the side of the road. The only actual engine issue we had, if you've watched my other videos, the turbo solenoid wire. Apparently there's a lot of these. They're a bad wire from factory. They must have had a bad batch of harnesses or whatever. And anyway, I just put a new wire in on the end of the turbo solenoid. Is the only actual engine issue we've had with this. Very cheap to maintain. It only holds 3.5 liters of oil, and it doesn't burn a drop when you pull that stick out. The same amounts there that you put in, even with the high mileage and the turbocharger. Which honestly, when we first purchased this, I was a little bit skeptical about buying a newer Honda with all these options, just because, you know, that stuff is usually known to fail over time. But I've got to say, I kind of put my foot in my mouth, because we're getting handy to 300,000 kilometers and we've had almost 0 issues. And this was a simple fix. Took a little bit to figure it out, but that's been the only real mechanical issue for the engine. Now for the rest of the car, I believe we're on our 4th set of brakes, which isn't horrible. We run these wheels in the summertime. We bought them custom for this car when we bought the car new. They're a TSW, custom cut wheel, staggered slightly. And they just, I don't know, I think they make the car look great myself. They were kind of expensive, but kind of worth it. But another issue we had with this car is the back end is out of line from factory, and they call it to be out of line. So they eat the insides off the back tires pretty bad, actually. I was kind of disappointed in that, but we took it up to Valley Tire and asked the mechanic to zero the numbers out instead of going by what the car calls for, to get the tire to lay flatter. And it seems to be a lot better now. So we got that issue resolved. And for the brakes, as you can see, we've got cross drilled and slotted rotors. I upgraded the brakes onto it. This little thing does go like snot pretty hard, so a little extra braking power doesn't hurt. And I mean, even if you're, you know, not a faster driver or whatever you want to call it, these brakes are still better. Don't think of them as horsepower and performance, just think of them as running cooler. Cooler is better, they last longer. Just my personal experience. So 15,000 kilometers to an oil change with 0-20, 3.5 liters. Like I said, it's hard to believe, but even high mileage, it's not using any oil whatsoever. Again, if you watch my other videos, we've upgraded the lights in this car, the fog lights, the high and low beam, to the HIDs. So that's pretty much been it. I've done the transmission fluid twice now and the filter. A lot of people, especially the dealership, can't even tell you where the filter's located in these, and it's only about yay big. So if you change your tranny fluid yourself, check my other video out there where the transmission filter's located. It's kind of in a crazy spot, but definitely accessible to get at. So that being said, we're gonna jump in this thing and go for a little drive. Alright guys, so you can see there we're at 251,720 kilometers. And I did forget to mention, we have put 2 air filters in this. The way it's designed there, I should have showed you when the hood was up. It sucks the air in here, which the filter ends up getting a lot of dirt and dust into it. So it's a good idea to change your filter about every 80 or 90,000 kilometers just to keep it up and happy. But show you the lights here. So you can definitely tell they're way brighter than they were before, and it makes nighttime driving just that much better. So here's another issue with the car. Now that it's getting higher mileage, there's lines in the seat. But I mean, you know, 250,000 kilometers, these are honestly pretty minor things. We've had no camera defects other than the winter time. You get snow and ice onto them, which it's not the car's fault. But all in all, it's been a great car, guys. So we're gonna go for a little rip and show you how it works. Not a real nice day out, but nothing better to do. Yeah, so the fuel mileage in these things is honestly crazy. This holds like 40-45 liters. And if you want to, you know, milk it and not drive it hard, you can probably achieve over 600 kilometers to a tank. It's just honestly incredible how easy these are on fuel. And it's like 185 horsepower, so it's not exactly a lazy car. The dash is nice into it. I like the look of the gauges and everything. It has the economy mode, which we never use. Even the wife, she drives it hard. Well, it doesn't drive it hard, but it's like my M5. Why put the car in like a lower horsepower mode just to try to save 2 cents in fuel? It's just foolish, honestly. It has a sport mode if you pull it back an extra gear. It also has the paddle shifters here in the steering wheel, which is kind of cool. It gives you that spirited driving effect when you are driving it harder. Myself, I find with this car it shifts smart enough on its own that it really doesn't benefit you to use the paddle shifters. But again, like my M5, you have to shift it when you run the paddle shifters. Little different setup than this, but it still gives you that same kind of drive and feel and experience, if you will. Very quiet. Didn't have any exhaust leaks with it or nothing like that. Like I say, it's been a great car. I think we replaced one of the back calipers onto it. And they're a spiral caliper, so on any vehicle that style caliper tends to fail on a high mileage situation. But yeah, as you can see, it's a long ways from lazy. And the brakes these brakes work beautiful, as you can see. I barely even had to put any pressure onto it at all there. I mean, for 25 to 30 grand, these cars, I mean, this one not particular because we got so many miles onto it, but you know, if you're buying a new car every 2 or 3 years, these cars hold their value great. Cost you basically nothing in parts and maintenance. Very, very, very cheap on fuel. We had my wife had a Cavalier Z22 before she bought this, and this goes twice as far on the same amount of fuel as that car did, and there was really nothing too mechanically wrong with the other car she had. It just, you know, older car. So we'll show you dead stop here in sport mode. I mean, not crazy, but it's not lazy. It's a really light car. So it just It's good on fuel, it's quick for having low horsepower, and it feels really nice in your hand. I mean, the steering wheel, you don't gotta move it a lot, it reacts quickly. I mean, Honda put something together pretty good here when they built these. So that's been my experience, our experience with owning one of these newer Hondas. Really don't have anything bad to say. If you can show me a vehicle out there that you can put 250,000 kilometers onto it, and literally I don't think I've spent $1,500 maintaining this car for that many kilometers. I do all my own work. But it's when you go to buy parts for these things, like between Rock Auto, Amazon, it really doesn't cost you a lot to keep them going, and they're honestly pretty easy to work on. One thing I don't care for, you got to take the splash pan off the underneath of the car to access the oil filter and the drain plug. So next time I do it, I'm just actually going to take the grinder and make a hole into it, because it's kind of ridiculous. You got to take that off every time. But it's, again, that's a very minor thing at the end of it all. When we first bought it, this basically did a lot of highway driving for the first few years. Now she's got a job closer to home, so it doesn't get as many kilometers put onto it. I don't imagine there's too many 2017s showing 251,000 on the clock, unless you're someone that really does a lot of driving. I don't think I forget anything. That's pretty much, I mean, we changed the spark plugs into it once, I think, maybe twice. In fact, no, I think I only did it once. It's probably soon due to be done again. But again, it's not really like we had to do any of that stuff. There was no misfires, nothing like that. I kind of have my own maintenance schedule that I go by, and I just keep an eye on the kilometers and know when to change stuff so you don't have troubles. Like I say, this has never been towed. This has never been stuck on the side of the road, broke down. Still has the original battery into it, I'm quite sure. So if you guys are thinking of buying one of these, I mean, even if you buy a used one, as you can see, I got a lot of kilometers on this, and it's still a great car. So, I mean, I definitely can't point people away from buying one of these. If you're thinking about it, I'd probably say these might be one of the better options to go with. So, thanks for watching, guys. That's my Honda Civic review with 250,000 kilometers. And good luck to y'all if you buy one. Feel free to ask any questions, and please subscribe.